Time for Grizz Beat, a full court press of highlights, insights, news, and scoops covering the Grizzlies and the NBA. Catch up each week on the latest Grizz buzz with regional and national insiders locked in on our squad. Running point from Grind City Media Studios, our host, Jarvis Greer.
Here we are, everybody, just off of Beale Street in Memphis. Yeah, welcome to Grizz Beat. We are back at an action-packed show for you, and as always, a tremendous panel. Let's get to know who we've got here. Avery Braxton from ABC 24 joins us here in studio, ready to talk Grizz, and you know everything there is to know about the Grizzlies, right?
I wouldn't say I know everything there is to know, because I feel like you guys know everything there is to know. But I don't mind giving my 2 cents and giving my quick little opinion here and there.
All right, AB, and we got MW, the great Michael Wallace, as my grandson likes to call him. He is the guru of Grind City Media, and man, here we are. It is June, and that means it's finals time, right?
It's NBA finals time. What's the pathway? Hopefully, the Grizzlies can find a way to get there at some point, but right now we got an intriguing matchup coming.
We sure do. That matchup is the Indiana Pacers against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Take a look at that, man. Look at this. This is like two teams that you would not have thought. Maybe the Thunder you would have thought, but the Pacers, wow. A former ABA team in the finals, and of course the Seattle Supersonics are now the Oklahoma City Thunder. Even though Seattle owns the name, that franchise has been around for a good while. But what does the country think about who will win this series or who they want to win this series? The rooting interest. Oh, my goodness. Oklahoma City, who has been just totally nuking everybody in the postseason. They got, a little bit of the midsection of the country in Idaho, and the Pacers have basically got everybody else. I mean, I wonder, isn't it the underdog thing? But 39 states are going for the Pacers. Only 11 are going for the Thunder. And the Thunder just, 470 miles or so from Memphis. And, of course, I don't know how you feel about the Thunder, but we're going to talk about it right now, who we think is our rooting interest for this series right now. And let's start out with Avery Braxton from ABC 24. The Thunder, of course, has been just killing everybody. Yeah. And they're winning in the playoffs basically like they won during the regular season by an average of more than double figures. What do you think about this series with the Pacers and the Thunder?
Well, as the panel picks come up, I got the Thunder in 6. And I think when you watch what they've been able to do throughout the entirety of the playoffs, their defense has just been absolutely stifling. And I think there's the old adage that defense wins championships, and I think that is certainly going to be the case here. I also think that just with the way the Pacers play, their whole shtick, if you can call it a shtick, their whole style of play has been their speed. And I think this is a team in the Thunder that's going to be able to match their speed pretty much pace for pace.
Okay, you see my picks up there. I got the Thunder in 6, too. I think the Thunder, the way they've gone here, if they lose a game, it's usually game 3, the first game on the road for them. And the Pacers might take one more at home, but the Thunder, as we've been saying, even their second team could win around in the postseason, and that's where they distance themselves from everybody else. But I think it's the Thunder in 6. A lot of people got it as a sweep, but Michael Wallace, the guru of Grind City Media, you think a little bit differently from everybody.
And part of that is me hoping that it goes 7, because I think this can be an intriguing series right here. I do think if the Pacers can get to their pace, no pun intended, and if they can get to their shots,
right,
then they can be lethal, because this team shoots the 3-ball pretty well. They have balance. Oklahoma City will give up some 3-point shots. If they can protect the ball, Indiana is one of the better teams in the NBA, especially in the playoffs, at protecting the basketball. Protect the basketball, get to your pace, you can make this a series. And I think the Thunder, the Pacers can do some things that the Thunder have not allowed other teams to get a chance to do. But those are our opinions. I'm hoping it goes 7. I think it'll be an intriguing series. One more thing. The Pacers have won game 1 on the road in every single series that they played so far. They beat Milwaukee, they beat Cleveland,
right,
and they beat New York all on the road in game 1. So Thursday's game 1 is going to be intriguing. And one of the things that we do know about the Pacers is that they have depth, they have balance. They also had this guy on the beat for so long, for almost 20 years, Mike Wells, formerly of the Indianapolis Star. Currently, ESPN Radio would join us to give us some perspective on the Indiana Pacers. Wells is also a former colleague of mine at ESPN, and now he currently is one of the faculty members at Indiana University in their sports journalism department based out of Indianapolis. Mike Wells, thanks for joining us, man. We wanted to go to one of the experts who know these Pacers, who know what this team in this town is all about. And I'm going to put you on the spot, man. Why Tell us, number one, what do you think about most of America, 39 states rooting for the Pacers means, and how can they actually turn that rooting interest into an upset of sorts to keep them in this series?
First of all, my brother Wallace, it's good to see and talk to you once again. I was a little surprised when you guys posted that graphic up there. I thought just about everybody outside of Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, maybe Illinois, was going to be rooting for the Oklahoma City Thunder, as they should, because OKC steamrolled through the NBA regular season. But you guys just alluded to a couple things that I find intriguing. You were talking about the depth that Oklahoma City has with their ability to, their second unit can win a lot of games. Guess what? One of the main reasons why the Pacers beat the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals is because of their depth. They have guys that can be starting on other NBA teams also. You talk about OKC's defense. Guess what? Did anybody see the way the Pacers were they defending Jalen Brunson and picking up the full length of the court, making life very hectic for the Knicks? And winning game one is going to be huge. We saw they went into Milwaukee, took care of Giannis. Game one against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Took care of the Cavs, who had the best record in the Eastern Conference. Came from behind because of Nesmith and won game one against the Knicks. So while OKC may be feeling good, I'm not going to say this is going to be an easy series. I like you guys' prediction, but don't sleep on Indiana. I had Rick Carlisle his first go around with the Pacers. He is a more relaxed head coach right now. He's not trying to control things. He's letting the players play. And when you have a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, let him run the show and let him do what he does best. Be the point guard out there on the court for the Pacers.
Mike, you talk about Halliburton and who he's kind of been and who he's been for these Pacers this year. I think the point guard matchup is really interesting. I think that's what people are going to point to the most. But who is going to be your X factor in this series in terms of for the Pacers to win the series or for the Thunder?
Well, I'm gonna go with the guy who was named the MVP of the Eastern Conference Final, Pascal Siakam. I mean, he's averaging over 21 points a game in the playoffs so far. But I'm going X factors. I'm breaking the rule. You said X factor. I can't go with one. I am gonna go with Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith. The reason why I'm going with those two, because they're going to be the two primary defenders on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We know Shai is the league MVP, best player in the league, averaging over 30 points a game. The Pacers want to make him, if he's going to score over 30 points a game in the finals, they want him to have to do it by shooting 20 to 25 times a game. If they're able to do that, that simply means other players are not involved in the offense for OKC, and Shai's trying to do too much. So I'm going with two players. I'm going with Nembhard and also Aaron Nesmith, the guys who are going to be primarily responsible for trying to slow down SGA.
Really, really interesting. That sounds pretty good. Hey, this is Jarvis Greer here, and I want to ask you this question. Well, first of all, I go back to when the Pacers were in the old Fairgrounds Arena, Roger Brown and that crew back back in the 70s when they were really good and winning a lot. And I want you to tell me, when you look at this series, you talked about the bench a little bit. I said that the OKC bench is good enough to win around it by itself. Does Indiana really have enough firepower off that bench? Is it more offense or is it more defense that they'll have to use against Oklahoma City?
Oh, it's going to have to be defense because, while I said the Pacers have a bench to try to counter OKC's, there's a reason why the Thunder had the best record in the NBA. While they were rolling through teams left and right from start to finish. The Pacers are going to have to come in waves. They can't expect to win this series and win a title by trying to have one guy come off the bench. They're going to have guys come in and do it and have those big games, whether it's a Benedict Mathurin or Obi Toppin or TJ McConnell, who finds a way to get a steal or two off an inbounds play in every game, it appears. So they got to come with them in waves. It's not about, there's no Vinnie Johnson, the microwave for those. You got to Google him if you guys don't remember Vinnie Johnson from the Detroit Pistons. There's not that one guy. It's about coming in and going as deep as possible off the bench. And, you throw in Thomas Bryant or Ben Shepherd, they can go. They are a legit 10 deep. So it is going to be a matchup of which team is going to contribute the much, because I think the starters for both teams are going to come up to play. You don't have to question the starting lineups, but it's going to be about which bench can give more points to help their team win.
All right, Mike Wells, we'll get you out of here on this one, man. We got to get your prediction. You show our predictions. Where do you see this series coming down to? What is your prediction for the Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Hey, Mike, I would love for it to be a 7-game series because it would sit there and all the naysayers talking about small market against small market. I would love for it to go 7 and it extend the NBA season, but I don't see it going 7 games. Oklahoma City, they win this series. I'm going with 6 games. OKC handles their business, and they win a title and helps offset the worst trade in NBA history, Seattle to Oklahoma City. That is the worst trade that's ever happened when it comes from city to city in NBA history, but the Thunder win it in 6 games.
Hey, man, I definitely appreciate that. If it goes 6, I think that's still an extended series right there. And Oklahoma City will be NBA champions for the first time since they've been in Oklahoma City. But the Indiana Pacers certainly won't have anything to be ashamed of if they can push this to 6 games. Thanks a lot, brother. We'll definitely check back in with you as the season and the offseason and next season gets to us. That was Mike Wells, ESPN Radio out of Indianapolis. He's also been on the Pacers beat for almost 20 years and is a professor at Indiana University in the sports journalism department, which brings us to why this matters to the Memphis Grizzlies, guys. If you're the Memphis Grizzlies, we know Memphis is going to be one of the markets that tunes in most to these NBA finals. They're traditionally one of the biggest markets in terms of television viewership. What can the Grizzlies, as we get to our 24-second shot clock validation question, what can the Memphis Grizzlies learn from the Thunder Pacers NBA Finals Series? Who am I starting with? Am I starting with Jarvis? I'm starting with Avery Braxton. Let's go.
Put you on the clock.
24 seconds. Let's bring the 24-second shot clock up. And now you're on.
Go.
I think what the Grizzlies can learn from watching both of these teams in the finals and playing each other in the finals is that your style of play is not something that you really have to change. Both of these teams love to play fast. Both of these teams love to play really aggressively on the defensive side of the ball, picking up full court. I think what you have to figure out is, can you get your depth to be able to match and be able to go 8, 9, 10 deep in the way the Pacers have and the way OKC has?
Look at that. Right on the buzzer right there. Got the shot
out.
off in time. Great point right there. We'll swing it over to Jarvis Greer. What can the Grizzlies learn from this Thunder Pacers NBA Finals Series? 24 seconds on the clock, Jarvis. Go.
As I put my thinking cap on, I look at it. Well, you say 2 teams from small markets, so to speak. Indianapolis is a little bit larger, but not that much more. Oklahoma City and Memphis, there's not that much difference between the 2 markets. That's a good sign for Memphis. Payroll. Both these teams are non-tax-paying teams. That's another good sign for Memphis. The Grizzlies are going to be skirting it with whatever they do with Jaren Jackson Jr., but we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I think it's a great sign for Memphis.
You got it in. Okay, that's pressure right there. Putting the pressure on me to bring this thing home. As you guys both made excellent points right here. 24-second shots, 24 seconds on the clock for me, and they start right now. Well, I will say how the Grizzlies should be consuming these NBA Finals is saying we're not too far from either one of these teams in terms of how they were built. We already have the stars we need to have on our roster right now, but what we need to understand is both of these teams showed us what a clear pecking order looked like. Right. They both showed us what clear coaching looks like. They showed us what clear communication looks like. And if the Grizzlies can learn anything from these teams, it's those 3 fundamental principles.
Hey, look.
I got it in at the buzzer. It was a little bit, we might have to have
so you got to check your fingertips.
Yeah, you got to check my fingertips on it.
You got to go to Secaucus, New Jersey.
We got to check it on there.
Did he get it off in time?
No, we didn't. We may have gotten it off in time, but we didn't get it off in time. But hey, we also have one other situation that we wanted to look at too. We saw the graphic of the teams that made the NBA Finals. Here's a team what the bracket looks like for teams that progressed through the playoffs but did not make it. We looked at some of the teams that did not make it in, and right there you see
playoff chances. You
wasted playoff chances. Yes, you have the wasted playoff teams. We each are going to pick one team to talk about in terms of teams that did not reach their potential come playoffs. And as we look at that, Jarvis, you start with the Los Angeles Clippers.
I'm going with the Clippers because, health usually wins in the playoffs, right? Well, the Clippers got healthy at the right time. They got Kawhi Leonard back, and he's going absolutely crazy, and everything looks great. But, James Harden, it becomes playoff James Harden again. We got playoff Jimmy Butler. We got non-playoff James Harden, and I think the Clippers were the biggest disappointment in terms of wasted playoff.
Okay.
That's my take. What about Avery Braxton, sir, from ABC 24? What do you think? Which team had the biggest waste in the playoffs?
I'm going to go with the other side of LA. I'm going to say the LA Lakers. And I'll start this by saying I think in the grand scheme of things, the Lakers are going to be just fine. Anytime you get a superstar, the caliber of Luka Doncic, I think you're set up to be really good for a really long time. But in these playoffs, you had a LeBron and a Luka, And for that to not get you at least one series win, I think is just a travesty and quite honestly a crime. Shout out to Anthony Edwards because he's becoming somewhat of a legend killer of these last couple of playoff series. But there's no way on earth that Luka Doncic and LeBron James should not get you out of, at the very least, one playoff series.
All right, so that's Avery Bradley. What does Michael Wallace think was the biggest wasted playoff?
The team that got hurt the most in this situation was the Boston Celtics. And when you had Jason Tatum go down, they were already probably going to lose that series against the New York Knicks. They were down 0-2. They lost their first 2 games at home. But not only did that injury derail their chances this year, it also potentially takes them out of the play for a championship next year. Achilles takes you out for a full season. And then you got to figure out, they're the most expensive team in the NBA. Do you even bring this team back by keeping it on loaner for right now? Paying so much money for a team you know that may not make it back to the finals next year, that was really, really costly. I think that's the most damaging team that got damaged in these NBA playoffs, the Boston Celtics.
All good answers, all good answers. We'll take that under advisement. You know, at some point we're going to give a grade on that. We'll have that in the future for segments on Grizz Beat. But right now we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's all Jaren Jackson Jr. What to do with Tripp for the Grizzlies as we ponder what's coming up for the rest of the offseason. We'll have that and more when we come back on Grizz Beat.
Are you ready?
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
For Jaren Jackson Jr. in 7 years to have the following resume is very impressive. Second team all defense this year. He's a 2-time All-Star. He's a 2-time first team all defense, 2-time leader in blocks. Made the all-rookie first team back in his first year in the league.
You left off Defensive Player of the Year.
And Defensive Player of the Year.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're going to get seeded this. So who's going to actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Hey, take your game and your swag to the next level this summer. Junior Grizzlies basketball camps presented by Ortho South are back for their best summer yet. Register your 6 to 14-year-old hooper for one of our summer sessions to hone their skills and experience, all the fun and excitement of an NBA team your children will totally enjoy. Campers receive specialized training from Junior Grizzlies camp staffers. And all you got to do, if you want to register your young hooper, go to Grizzlies.com to register them today.
Welcome back to Grizz Beat, and as we do in this segment right here, we usually jump around the league. The NBA is 1 day away from the start of the NBA Finals. We're a couple of weeks away from the NBA Draft, and then after that, the start of NBA free agency, which brings us right back to Memphis, where one of the biggest stories in the league will be what will the Grizzlies do And what will Jaren Jackson Jr. decide about his short-term and long-term future as it relates to his contract talks? Now, Jaren did not make the All-NBA first, second, or third team that was announced earlier during these playoffs. There were 5 other guys that sort of beat him out for that third team. James Harden with the Clippers, Cade Cunningham with the Detroit Lions, with the Detroit Pistons, Tyrese Halliburton with the Indiana Pacers, Jalen Williams with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Karl Anthony Towns with the Knicks were all third team members. Jaren was a candidate, probably just missed the cut for that third team. And I want to ask the guys on the Grizz Beat panel, was Jaren Jackson Jr. robbed, or did the voters get the ballot right? So was he robbed, or was it right? And we'll start with you, Avery Braxton.
I think when you look at it, I think they got it right. I think when you look at the way the Grizzlies season went, I think it kind of coincided with the way Jaren was playing, in that it's not the All-NBA up until the trade deadline award. It's All-NBA for the regular season. And I think Jaren just kind of trailed off. He had that injury, and I think that kind of affected his ability to play just a little bit. I think at the same time, when the Grizzlies kind of made their ideological switch, when Isolo kind of took over towards the end, and really even before then, it just didn't really favor a Jaren Jackson Jr. I think his play kind of fell off. And I think you look at the rest of that panel, I don't know who you could take off there who didn't deserve to be all NBA third team. Now,
Jarvis, you had Jaren Jackson Jr. making your All-NBA team,
did.
first, second, or third team when we had the last show.
I had him on the third team.
On the third team. Mm-hmm. Now that he didn't make it, and when you look at that list, did he get robbed, or did the NBA voters get it right?
Robbed or right? I have to think it was a coin flip. I think they flipped the coin, because if you look at several of those, James Harden, his team made a big push and got, 2 games finished better than the Grizzlies, I believe, or a game and a half. I think, though, that Kawhi Leonard was more responsible for that push. If you look at the list there, Jalen Williams, of course, deserved to be on it. Cat from the Knicks, yes, but I think Jaren Jackson Jr., as Avery mentioned, the injury, that last 2-week stretch there, the injury really set him back, and then the transition in coaching when they switched up the philosophy a little bit, had him standing outside a little bit too much. But I think that, was he deserving, robbed or right? I would lean to right on that, because the Grizzlies didn't make it, and he was the biggest part of the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies went as he went.
I know it's tough. I know it was tough for you to say they got it right, because I know you wanted him on that team. You wanted him on that list. Longtime fan, big-time supporter of Jaren Jackson Jr. I think they got it right. They got it right. I didn't have him on the first, second, or third team, and I think Jaren would tell you his season tailed off. I was going to say tailored off.
Yeah.
It tailed off, and he didn't give the best effort of his games. The ankle injury has something to do with it down the stretch, the coaching change and all of that. I think the best is yet to come for him, and we'll see what that means. Now, what does all of that mean? That means the Grizzlies and Jaren Jackson Jr. will be entering into potential contract renegotiations. Bobby Marks of ESPN, a former front office executive with the Brooklyn Nets, put this tweet out and this information out right here. If you're looking at just extending Jaren off of where he is right now, you're looking at $146 million in 4 additional years after next season. Otherwise, the Grizzlies can tear up the contract, renegotiate, start a new contract that will give him the numbers that we see right there on the screen. And then you're talking about something closer to the $200 million over a 5-year range, which brings us to our second 24-second shot clock validation, and that is, what should the Grizzlies and Jaren Jackson Jr., how would they resolve this contract situation moving forward? And we'll start with you, Avery Braxton.
I think the right choice here is to go ahead, and I don't know, do I have my 24 seconds yet? No?
Do you have your 24 seconds? Let's bring in the 24 seconds.
Clock up.
Let's bring the clock. There we go.
I had
there we
extra
go.
seconds. I should have.
You should have started talking.
Now I'm scrambling. I think the right answer here is to go ahead and do the extension. I think you give him that money, you take what you're able to do, and you got to go use that main player exception, MLE. I didn't get that right. Mid-level exception. There we go. I think you use that with what you can get and try to get you a solid defender, probably somebody with some length. But I think extending him right now is the right choice.
Good job, man. You got it in. You
scrambled and got it in. At the second thing. I don't know. It just makes my brain work really fast.
That's who you want running it, because he hit that thing.
Let's bring the clock back. Jarvis, you are now on the clock. How should the Grizzlies and Jaren Jackson Jr. resolve this contract situation moving forward? Starting now.
I think that the Grizzlies and Jaren, if they are of the right mindset, and I think they both are on the same mindset, they'll say, look, this guy's been working under a cheap deal for a very team-friendly deal. They'll tear that up. They'll give him a new deal. They'll know what they have to work with going forward, and I think that's the main thing. They'll be set in the money that they're paying out. Jaren knows that he's got security. That's what the Grizzlies should do.
Man, Jarvis, you are on fire, man. You got that fire circled around him right now.
Second left.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's bring the 24 seconds back. And I'm last but not least when it comes to how should the Grizzlies and Jaren Jackson Jr. resolve this contract situation. I think Jaren needs to bet on himself. Listen, it's hard to look at that Supermax and say, man, I could have gotten $300 and almost $50 million. Now I'm settling for almost $60 million less than that. Let me bet on myself. Let me take a 2-year contract with a player option for the second year, which gives me a chance to go back and get that Supermax next summer. That's how they should resolve it if I'm Jaren Jackson Jr.
Look at Michael Wallace pulling out the
We're
other
in there.
things
We're in there. I've seen so many guys do this before. LeBron James has done it. Kevin Durant has done it. We've seen so many guys do it, bet on themselves, and we'll see where it goes from here. When we come back, the Grizzlies have 5 other free agents that they're going to be pondering, paying, or passing on this coming summer when free agency hits. We'll get to them when we return to Grizz Beat.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
CP the franchise. Do we hate the Pacers?
Of course. I hate Halliburton. I hate Reggie. I hate the Pacers. I hope.
Yeah, where does Halliburton rank?
Is he gonna?
Where's he ranked?
Yeah, is there potential for him to be more hated than Reggie by the end of this series?
If you start flipping y'all off, for sure.
Yes. Well, first of all, they're built the same. They damn near look the same. You know what I mean? He's like reincarnated Reggie Miller.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance
But
of
you get a lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Hey, welcome back to the Grizz Beat Studios here at Grind City Media, 191 Beale Street, downtown Memphis. Hey, you can experience the historic 25th season of Grizzlies basketball in the Bluff City by becoming a season ticket member today. Achieve MVP status and receive exclusive benefits, savings, and event access. For more information on how you can become a Grizzlies season ticket holder, just go to grizzlies.com/season tickets or call this number, 901-888-HOOP, 901-888-HOOP. New segment here on Grizz Beat. We're calling it Pay, Pass, or Ponder. The 3 Ps right there. Somebody else had that during the season, but we won't talk about that right now. Pay, Pass, or Ponder. The Grizzlies got 5 free agents coming up this offseason. What will they do with them? What do you think they'll do with them? What do we think they'll do with them? The 5 free agents are Santi Aldama, Kennard, Marvin Bagley, Lamar Stevens, and Yuki Kawamura. Let's start out with Santi Aldama. Slim Spain. You can see what he's got right there and what he's done. He can make, he become a restricted free agent. He's the team's most productive bench player this season. Averaged 12.5 points, 6.4 rebounds. That's pretty good. 2.9 assists. They are all career highs. Pay, pass, or ponder. Start with Avery Bradley, ABC 24.
Jarvis.
Yes.
My last name is Braxton, brother.
Avery Braxton.
My name is Braxton, brother. I'll let it slide a couple of times. I can't do it no more. Anyway, I say we pay. I say we pay Santi Aldama because he's continued to be really productive. We mentioned all those things are career highs. His ability to not only be a off-the-ball player but also initiate the offense as a big, I think, is really important. I would love to see his defense get better, but from everything that he's been able to contribute, and I think what they've asked of him, I would say you got to pay Santi Aldama.
I say you pay him, but at a certain cost, though. I know Santi Aldama is probably looking for the Dylan Brooks type deal, 4 years, $80 million, $20 million a year. The Grizzlies can't afford that. They won't afford that. They won't offer that. But if he can come in somewhere around what the mid-level exception is and maybe a little bit shorter than that, you give him a chance to come back, offer him that. You pay him, but under an economic contract.
I'm going to say on that, it's between pay and ponder because Santi.
You got to pick one, Jarvis. You got to pick one.
Options. Pay, pass, or ponder.
I'm getting there. Let me get there. Roll downhill. We're rolling down. Pay or ponder. I'm saying ponder because, he is everything that everybody has said, but there's still that dog. I want to see that dog come out of him. He showed it a little bit during the season at times. His rebounding has gone up. Yeah, all career highs across. I need more dog out of you. That's why you're going to get paid, but not quite as much as you think you're going to get paid. That's my opinion. Okay. The next player on the list, Luke Kennard. Luke, he'll be unrestricted free agent. He tied for third in NBA three-point percentage. Still one of the all-time greatest in the game at that. If he shoot more, he averaged 8.9 points, 3.3 assists, 2.8 rebounds. Pay, pass, or ponder on Luke Kennard, Avery Bradley.
You did it again.
Avery Braxton.
He's daring you, A. He's daring you, AB. These are fighting words now.
I'm going to pay.
I'm putting it out there, man. We're going to go for it.
I'm going to pass on Luke Kennard. I don't even really remember what my reasons were, but I think he's a fantastic shooter. I don't think you can argue with that. I think his ability to stretch the floor is great. And his ability, I think, trying to be more of a ball handler, I think, is good. I just feel like you can find somebody who can shoot, not necessarily at the level of Luke Kennard, but similar, and somebody who's going to play better defense for you. And I think when you look at, we talk about the teams in the finals, a lot of those guys can do it on both ends of the floor. I just don't think we've gotten that from Luke, and I don't think it's necessarily worth paying him, which is crazy because he's a 40% career three-point shooter. And I know people are going to dig me for that, but I don't pay him.
I'm going to pass as well, and I'm going to pass on Luke Kennard because you've already asked a guy to take less money last year to come back on a one-year deal. He came back. It didn't work out the way that you wanted it to work out or he wanted it to work out. He was almost unplayable towards the end of the season or for stretches of the season because of defense and his unwillingness to shoot. I just think he's run his course here in Memphis. He'll be a great player, a great role player somewhere else, but I think the Grizzlies will have to pass on him because of the number and the reliability factor with where they're going from here.
As much as I like Luke Kennard as a person, and as a player, sometimes he can be really, really good for you, but he just doesn't shoot enough. I'm going to say pass on Luke Kennard. Even if you think that Cam Spencer might be, he'd go out there and at least shoot the ball. I don't think and he doesn't make that much money as a two-way player, and they may elevate him to a roster spot. You pass on Luke Kennard. That is what I say. Luke, love you, brother, but, I think you came, we came, we saw, we did it, and now it's time to go do it with somebody else. All right, what's next? What do we have next here? Our next player, Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley, your cousin, Marvin Bagley. You remember that from Back to the Future. Marvin, he'll be unrestricted this year. Posted a season-high 25-point, 12 rebound game against Dallas. Wow, that was really good. That was at the end of the year. And the former number 2 overall pick in that same draft that produced Jaren Jackson Jr. He's had an injury-riddled season. Pay, pass, or ponder. AB.
Yeah, there you go.
Avery Braxton.
That's safe.
Avery Braxton.
That's
Avery
safe.
Braxton.
I'm a ponder on Marvin Bagley III. I think what we've seen from over his career arc is he really has to get healthy, and I think we saw some flashes of what he could be in terms of a solid backup big, somebody who can give you some depth. He has flashes of being able to score, and he can defend from a pretty decent perspective, but I just don't think we saw enough over that last half of the season, so I'm pondering. Give me a little time to kind of think about this one.
That's a great call right there. And I think depending on, I'm gonna go Ponder as well. But I'm gonna go Ponder because number one, you got to see what's gonna happen with Santi Aldama in that big spot. And I'm gonna go Ponder also because you're not gonna prioritize Marvin Bagley. But if he's available for somewhere around the veterans minimum towards the end of free agency, then you definitely welcome him back to give you a fresh start and a new run. I think he's productive as a backup big, and I know he liked being here. I know he likes playing alongside Jaren Jackson Jr., and he certainly showed some signs at the end of the season. You ponder it, you don't make it a priority, but you ponder it as you get towards the end of free agency.
Marvin Bagley, I'm going to say Ponder as well. Why Ponder? Because I think he makes a perfect lob threat for Ja Morant. You said he liked playing with Jaren Jackson Jr. I think he loves playing with somebody like Ja, and Ja looked for him several times during the year, and he came through. That 25-point, 12-rebound game was a good indicator of what he can do as being a former number 2. He's not going to make that much money. I think the vet minimum is probably, maybe a little bit more, is probably what he's going to get, and he could be somebody that could help you going on the way. Our final player, well, we got another player. Oh, my God, I have to say it. Lamar Stevens. Lamar Stevens. Got a street named after him here in Memphis. He'll be a unrestricted free agent. Added depth, defense, toughness off the bench. 4.4 points, 2.2 rebounds. Didn't see that many minutes or as many as I thought he would after they brought him back. Pay, pass, or ponder on Lamar Stevens, Highway 78. What do you say?
I'm going to pay Lamar Stevens, and it's not going to be a crazy number. It's not going to be something that's going to jump off the payroll sheet. But I think you pay him because, to Jarvis's point earlier about Santi, he brings that dog. He is somebody who is going to do the dirty work that other players don't necessarily want to do. He, for all the reasons that were on the graphic, he gives you toughness, he gives you depth, he gives you defense. I think he's a good depth piece to have on this team, on a team that needs a little bit more toughness.
And AB, I will agree with you. I pay Lamar Stevens, and you brought him back 2 years in a row for a reason, right? There's something about him that you like. He's a consummate professional, and I think not only do you pay him, you don't pay him much. You pay him in that veterans minimum or his career minimum level, but you also say, hey, look, you're the kind of guy that I want around, and if G.G. Jackson or Vince Williams Jr. isn't ready to be in this rotation, I know I can rely on you to provide toughness, defense, and professionalism. Let's go. He's a cheap aspect, and I think you go ahead and pay him.
Pay him. Got a street named after him. You got to pay him. It's already paved. It's ready to go. No, I like the fact that he is going to be a guy that's not going to complain about whatever it is that you ask him to do. He's going to go out there and do it. He doesn't make so much money that you can't do other things. And he's a guy that you can have to help your bench as a kind of a veteran presence, because he's been there before. He's been on good teams before. They loved having him. Where did he come here to Memphis from? Was it Philly?
No. He came here from Boston. He was in Boston. He was in Cleveland.
They loved him up there.
Yeah,
and
Boston,
then Cleveland. That's right. And everywhere he was.
He's from Philly.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
And he's a dog.
He is a dog.
There you go.
Junkyard style.
I want dogs on my team. Hey, all right, so there you go. And the final one we have here on our list of free agents for the Grizzlies, Yuki Kawamura. Yuki, he is on an expiring one-year, two-way developmental contract. He was a Japan national team star, a Grizz fan favorite, and I'm saying the whole league loved Yuki. He split last season between the Grizz and the Hustle. He had a couple of tremendous games with the Hustle, if you're able to see him down there. He also had a couple of games here. That game in Washington was awesome, where the whole Washington, the Wizards fans were cheering for him when he came in and played great. Yuki, what do you say, Avery Braxton?
You got it right on the fifth try. I'm kind of pondering on Yuki. I'm pondering on Yuki. I don't think you can just say pay him, because he's 5'8", and while he is a electric player, and he's fun to watch, I just don't know how you can really justify paying him. I don't want to say pass, because them social media numbers is going crazy, bro. I don't know if that matters to anybody out there, but I think Yuki is a fantastic player. You can't deny his talent, but I struggle with paying him. So I'm going to say ponder, and for much of the same reasons that, Jacob Gilyard didn't stick around a couple years ago.
I say pay him, but I say pay him on a two-way. And if he doesn't want to accept a two-way to come back in a similar role that you had him in, then it's time for him to move on, right? He's going to make that decision from that standpoint. I don't think you put him in a roster spot because they're so valuable right now in terms of the 17 or whatever roster spots you have. But if he's one of your two-way guys that can have options here and there, you recycle, you reset the calendar for Yuki if he wants to come back. I love him too. I know he's a Ja Morant favorite, and that might speak to something in terms of keeping him in Memphis.
All right, I'll say that I was originally going to say pass because, you can't, with a 5'8" guy who comes in, there's some things he can do, and there's a lot that he can't do. But what he does do is electrify the crowd. Ponder, I have to agree with Michael Wallace on that. Because
I said pay him. You agree with
I
AB?
said Ponder.
You said Ponder.
He said Ponder, yeah.
I'm going to say Ponder. You
Okay.
ponder it because you got to weigh the yin and yang, if I could say that, with Yuki Kawamura. It's social media. You got all of Japan that loves this guy. All of Memphis loves this dude. Whenever he gets in there, everybody's on their feet. And he's just one of those guys. He's going to make you work, first of all. He'll make the starters work. He'll make the other guys work. And as an end-of-the-bench guy, I mean, what else, unless you got John Conchar as your end-of-the-bench dude, sure, why not? I'll say ponder on Yuki Kawamura. And that is it for this segment, Pay, Pass, or Ponder. You'll see much more of that as we go forward here on Grizz Beat. And I'm looking at that clock. Man, it's come time that we got to say adios right here. Avery Braxton. I know your name, boy.
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
You do now.
AV, we just call you AV. We appreciate you from AVC24. And, of course, the guru of Grind City Media himself, Michael Wallace, the great Michael Wallace, as my grandson would like to say. A whole lot more coming up for you this offseason. A couple of weeks, we will be back, and we'll talk about the NBA draft. What will the Grizz do? That's the next topic for consideration right here on Grizz Beat. We hope you see you then in 2 weeks. See you then.
That's game. Thanks for running with us for another episode of Grizz Beat. Join us each Wednesday at Grind City Media for all the latest insight and analysis on the Grizzlies.